What's going on, HOTH family? This is Clayton from the HOTH. Welcome to another episode of Keywords and Cocktails, the show where we get to talk about all things SEO, marketing, making money online, and we get a drink at the same time. So today we have our guest, Ryan Stempski. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Clayton.
Ryan is an account manager here at the HOTH, and we're going to be getting into a lot of cool stuff. So on today's episode, our cocktail is actually still not a cocktail. It's just some recipe we found on some mom blog, but it's going to taste delicious. We're going to be making a blackberry margarita variation, and it goes a little something like this if you want to follow along. So we're going to start out with a little bit of tequila. All right, so we're going to do 2 ounces of tequila. You like tequila, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so.
Wish it was mezcal, but you know.
Oh, yeah. Get it nice and smoky. All right. So 2 ounces tequila. Boom, boom. Cool. Got that? We're going to do 1.25 ounces of lime. So let's see if we can get that in there. There's 1 ounce. There's the 0.25-ish. All right, then we're gonna do 0.75 of agave, and you can adjust however you like because sometimes it's sweeter, sometimes it's not, you know. All right, there's about the 0.75. Super scientific recipe.
Perfect.
Yeah. Now we got from a mom blogger who's a very smart mom blogger. And then let's throw a couple of these blackberries in there. Yeah. We'll crunch that up. Yeah.
Basil in there too?
Yeah, the basil's already in there actually.
Nice.
Well, actually, here's another one. We'll throw that in there. That'll be good. All right. So I'm not beating it up too hard, just just enough to mix it up. Make it really messy in here. All right. And then let's grab a little bit of ice. Then we can get the lime aerated nice and beautiful. A couple of nice ice cubes in there. See what we got. Got enough ice in your cup?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna throw this on here. Throw this one on top. Hopefully not spill it everywhere. Hope that's tight seal. All right. Oh yeah. Okay, pop it open. There we go. And then we use this strainer over here. Strain that out. I like a double strain, but we'll do with this one. Get a nice, beautiful blackberry basil margarita. Perfect for Christmas time. Just reminds me of classic Christmas, you know?
Christmas in Florida.
Christmas in Florida, yep. All right, delicious. All right, this one's for you. There you go, man. Cheers. Welcome to the show. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited for you to be here. I know you as an account manager here at the HOTH. You have some of the biggest clients that we have. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of clients. And so you get to see everything from the mom and pop business all the way up to like enterprise companies, Fortune 500 companies. Talk a little bit about how you came to the HOTH and your story here.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a journey to get here, but I started in sales, account management for a parking company, actually. So I just handled management of different hotels in the Milwaukee area, actually. I know you're from Indiana, so.
Wisconsin, Midwest represent.
Yeah. Midwest boys. So I started with that. After that, I went over to sales in a different field, a very different field. Let's just say it was men's health. Okay. I went into, so I did that for around 2.5 years. Face-to-face sales. So I was in a room with somebody, talking to them directly in a very kind of awkward situation at times. And that's what kind of really got me going into sales, because then I was doing kind of like hard closing sales. Yeah. When I came to the HOTH, it was actually, I was introduced by Rachel, who was on the last Keywords and Cocktails. She introduced me to George. I cold emailed him actually and got an interview. Went through like a 6-month process, came to the HOTH, and ever since I've just been doing no more hard closing, which is great.
Actually, that's a really interesting point, because in comparison to your other jobs, you said you were doing like a lot of hard closing. Like you had to bring in clients and you had to close them right then and there. Well, actually, with the HOTH, that experience has changed a little bit, because I mean, with the HOTH, we really operate on that kind of inbound marketing philosophy, right? We put out a lot of content. We rank for like a lot of different things.
We're an inbound machine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I have to do is be ready, have an open calendar, and have the information that people need for the most part.
Yeah, so it kind of changed the way the even sales process goes, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit, and like what's the difference between that and your previous experience with how clients come into our funnel, and how SEO like really kind of changes the whole process.
It works out great, because at the end of the day, I mean, the same mentality that we have for the HOTH is the same mentality we have for our clients. So when we manage campaigns, I mean, as you know, is we tell them create great content, create linkable assets, and if you can create that content that's answering the questions that people are searching for, you're just going to get people coming to you in the first place. You're going to get more keywords, and the traffic that's coming to your website is actually going to have more value. So that's exactly what we do. Most of our lead gen, where does it come from? It comes from all of our learning hub. It comes from our blog articles, how to get leads. We have all these ultimate guides on local SEO, e-commerce SEO, law firm SEO. We have everything you can imagine for every single niche, reseller SEO, and that's what gets all the people through our door. We get them into our email campaigns, and we let the marketing team do their magic from there.
So you're like a real world case study of like what we're preaching, right? Every day we're preaching like doing SEO and like actually creating all this cool content that's going to attract a perfect customer, but you're actually like a real world case study, because you're the one on the receiving end of actually getting the leads and then closing down the sales.
Yeah, way easier too, because everybody already kind of has an idea of who we are, what we have to offer, and then also the authority that we have in the industry, because we rank well. I mean, we've ranked for Keyword Planner before. We outranked Google in the past. So, I mean, talk about credibility.
That's my SEO chops, yes.
Talk about credibility. Local SEO, we're at the top. I think we rank for the video search, as well as just regular Google SERPs. We're showing up for local SEO, and that's just one of the many keywords that we rank for at the moment. So if somebody can find us through organic search or through video, and then they come to us, they already know who we are, they already trust us as an expert in this field.
And hopefully people can take those kinds of lessons and that example and just kind of apply it to their own business, right? We just don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk too, and you get to see that like every day. So let's get into it, man. I want to talk about how you have lots of types of clients under your accounts. You have clients that are small mom and pop, like I said, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, and so I want to talk about like going big with SEO, okay? Because there's a lot of people that are pretty hesitant to do SEO, or they don't know like what's possible with SEO. And you've actually worked with some clients that want to go after some of the biggest sites in the world. People don't know like what does it even look like when you spend $10,000 a month on SEO, or $50,000, or even $100,000 a month on SEO. And you've managed accounts that are doing that. They're doing literally $1 million in spend in SEO in a year. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what does that look like? What is mentality like? What does that even mean if you want to spend that much money on SEO?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money, obviously, but just
comparatively to most people,
just like anything you do in marketing, it's at the end of the day, if you have a return on investment, why wouldn't you continue to spend more? When you're looking at PPC, if you're looking at any type of Google Ads, if you're looking at SEO, it's like if you can have a return on investment, if you can get those leads, if you can capture them, if you have good enough CRO, if you do A/B testing on your website, the sky is, there's no limits basically for SEO, and there's so many keywords you can go after. I mean, I think the biggest key.
Let's break that down a little bit, because people think like they have a couple keywords in their mind, and they're like, but what else am I going to like rank for? Like, how could I? Well, what am I going to write about if I'm going to write all these different articles? Like how?
We have to do the competitive gap analysis. That's the biggest thing. Is most people think, hey, I have this service, and I work in this area. If you're a local business or if you're an e-commerce business, you have this product. I want to sell this product with a buyer intent type of keyword. When you're missing out on a whole nother aspect of it, it's the questions that people are looking to find answers for.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing to like take away is like, what are the questions that people have before they buy your products or services? I mean, once you start thinking about that, like people have a zillion questions, or what happens right before they buy your products and services. write articles on those, talk about those on your website, and that will build out your content calendar for
Exactly.
forever,
And you have to have the top of the funnel, and you have to have the bottom of the funnel. You got to get in the middle of the funnel. You have to answer the questions all
Break
along.
that down for somebody that doesn't know what top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel.
Yeah, I mean, top of the funnel is just kind of like when you start kind of breaking through with introducing your business or your products to a client, and then you have the middle of the funnel. That's kind of when it falls into the sales cycle, you could say, when somebody's already in the door, maybe you already have the lead, and then you have the bottom of the funnel, which is primarily people who are ready to buy, and then they should be falling through that funnel, and the money should be coming in.
Yeah, and a lot of people only target that like bottom of the funnel type stuff. You know, they only like want to rank their product pages, but the reality is that most people are not ready to buy like right now. And actually, you can capture way more traffic if you go after what they call like top of the funnel stuff. So that would be like for us. Let's just give an example. Is like we write a bunch of like guides. We even wrote a guide like SEO basics. Those people are not ready to buy any of our services.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, they're just
They're going to
learning.
schedule a lot of calls, but eventually we can get them then to that next step.
Exactly, but we're okay with that. We're okay with capturing them there. We're okay with attracting people with that, you know, beginner content because it's going to help them, and they're going to start trusting us. And then they're going to start moving through the funnel. They're going to start checking out, oh, I have this problem. Well, I actually need to build backlinks. And then they kind of start checking out product pages. And then that bottom of the funnel stuff is like when you need to like really build that hardcore trust. That's when they're comparing different people. So like review type pages. When you start explaining your products, that's when the bottom of funnel stuff comes. And that's usually, hopefully, when you come in. Actually, your sales comes in. Instead of sales starting at the top of the funnel and explaining everything about SEO like many companies do. Sure. You know, we have like many companies that I'm sure our clients get called all the time for somebody saying, hey, we work with Google, we're going to help you rank.
What do you guys offer?
Yeah, and they have to explain the whole process. Well, we're actually attracting people. You know, we're developing that trust, and then finally at the end, you're only talking to them when they're really well educated. Hopefully, usually, yeah. And that works really well.
It works really well. I mean, you have warm leads; they're generally ready to buy. At that point, it's just a matter of do they trust you?
Yeah.
Did you provide the right information? Yeah. And did you follow up? Yeah. And usually you're in good shape there as long as they have the cash to spend and they have a need for our services. So
let's get back to like going big, man. Yeah. Going big, what kind of mentality do they have to have if they want to really dominate like a really big market? If you want to spend a lot on SEO or you just want to capture, like you want to be the authority in the niche, whether that be you're like a publisher or you're a big affiliate or maybe you're like a nationwide.
I mean, number one, you have to know your business very well.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't know your business, then there's no reason to spend that money into the marketing because you're probably going to waste it.
Good thing is like most big businesses, they actually do. Yes. A lot of small businesses don't know their business, but big businesses do. So
once we have the keywords they have in mind, the services that they're trying to rank for, the products that they want to rank for, once we have that information, I mean, then we can just do the research. We can use all the different tools that we have access to. I think the biggest thing is always looking at the keyword difficulty, finding out how hard it is to rank a keyword based off of the referring domains that keyword is currently ranking for on average in those top 10 positions. Once we can find that out, at that point we know what kind of competition we're dealing with. And if the competition is really tough, I mean, if you're looking at a keyword difficulty of, say, 50 and above, I mean, it's going to take a little bit or it's just going to take a lot of cash at that point. And if you have the budget to do it, there's no reason you can't rank for it, as long as the website's already in good shape. If on page is in good shape, you have content, you have the right internal linking, if you have all those little details, all the basic SEO things that you should be doing for your website, at that point it's usually just a referring domain game. So it's just how many individual sites you can get to rank or link to you as votes in the eyes of Google.
Yeah, and I mean, you do this all day, so this happens to you. What happens when a client comes in and they want to rank for something, you know, super competitive? Talk about what kind of process you'll take that person through. Yeah,
so it's once we get those couple keywords, so maybe I say, hey, like give me 3 of your business lines or products that you're trying to rank for, or if you're a blog, if you're an affiliate, you're just trying to go after a phrase of some sort. Once we have that information, we can do the keyword difficulty, put that into all of our tools.
Yeah, we use like Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a great one. SEMrush is another one.
Moz, KWFinder.com.
We have access. We probably pay $30,000 a month in SEO tools. So
we have so many tools. I don't even know what to choose sometimes, but it depends. It depends on what I'm doing research on too as well, because some of those tools are better for certain industries. Yeah. So some of them are really good to localize. Some of them are more national. Some of them are international. So we have to figure that out.
So you're just sitting there with your
8 screens,
huge monitor, looking at every tool. So you take them through a little competitive analysis, and you start developing a plan.
And then we have to get their direct and indirect competitors. Yep. I mean, it's extremely important, and that's, again, you have to know your business. Do you know who your direct competitors are? Do you know who your indirect competitors are? If you don't, obviously we can figure it out ourselves with all the tools we have and just typing it into Google, and they'll tell you who your competitors are that you probably don't even know about. Once we have that information, we can use the tools again, do the competitive gap analysis, and then we can actually pull and extract all the keywords that your competitors are ranking for that you're not. Once we have those, generally those are going to be more informational based, so kind of answering questions, and then we can create a content strategy off of that, and we can figure out what they're ranking for, what information they're providing. That's not too difficult maybe, but also has a good cost per click. So we know that these keywords people are bidding on in ads, and if they're bidding on them, we know that they're probably in that middle, maybe to the bottom of the funnel at that point, so we know that there's value if we can win those. And if we can win those keywords, then it's going to be a lot easier to win those bottom of the funnel keywords if you have kind of an overall strategy. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to spend the money. You have to know that this is a long-term play. So it's not like ads where short-term you're leasing kind of these leads in a sense. You're getting leads like, hey, this month I want 100 leads. Great, spend $10K. We can get you those. If you want to go in organic, it's going to take time to get you to where you want to be, but you will always have value. You'll always have that equity into the domain that you built.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, SEO, out of all the channels, usually produces one of the highest ROIs, right? It just takes a minute to get there. And you have to know that going in. One of the things that I always say is that, people usually underestimate what it's going to take to rank, and they also underestimate what the value that they're going to get out of it. Because the value of ranking number one, in many cases, especially if you're in a competitive market, is crazy.
Because what would it cost to rank number one for that keyword if you were paying for it? I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Maybe you invested $10,000 to rank for that keyword in position one, but it would have cost you $5,000 a month in pay.
Every single month. You have to keep paying that. Like, if you look us up on Ahrefs right now, our traffic value, according to Ahrefs, is about $240,000 a month. That means if we were to get the same amount of traffic we get for free from Google, from doing our own SEO, we would have to pay Google $240,000 a month in AdWords to get that same amount of traffic. So, and I'll tell you, we don't spend $240,000 a month to get our SEO. You know what I mean? So there's an enormous amount of ROI on there. It just takes patience to get there,
and it should hold longer too.
Yeah, it's gonna hold. It's gonna hold if you do it right and you don't do anything shady. You're gonna have those long-lasting results, right? I want to talk about if people are spending $50,000 a month on SEO, what are we doing?
Well, I mean, it depends on what they need, number one, because every domain's different, every project's different. Maybe somebody
And you do this all the time. You take people's budgets, you figure out the custom plan.
Figure out exactly what they need. I mean, for the most part, it would probably say it's pretty consistent, where we'd like to see around 10 to 15% of a budget going towards new content creation if it's needed. And then the remaining budget usually goes towards links. Unless you're a local business, then we probably do some citation work, which is also kind of link building in a sense.
There's not a lot of local businesses spending $50,000 a month.
No, there's not. There's not. But
there are some local, like nationwide chains that might.
Yes, because they have 100, 200 locations, and we need to target each individual page. Each one of those locations needs, their NAP done. They need their business directories all across the board. But most of the time when somebody's doing $50K and spend a month, they're doing it primarily on link building efforts. And it's just targeting a wide variety of pages with a wide variety of anchor text, going after natural anchors, the click here, learn more, check this out, according to all those natural anchors that aren't necessarily going to drive traffic to the website, but you just need to build those so you keep a nice pillow of anchor text, because you can't over-optimize. You don't want to slam. What would be a good example of slamming keywords? Like if you want
1993 SEO,
yeah. Slamming keywords. It used to work. It worked great. There are some people out there that might say that slamming keywords still does work. I don't know.
They're risky people.
Yeah, it's very risky. It might work for one of those kind of churn and burn websites, but if you're looking for long-term equity, according to our case studies, it looks like 85% of all anchor text that's going to your homepage specifically should all be natural. So brand name, naked URLs, benign keywords, and then just kind of small amounts of phrases or exact matches. Inner pages can be more aggressive, like 50 to 55% can be like phrases or keywords, and then then that remaining balance should be all natural as well. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind.
You're just like dropping knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. Like, I think for some people on here that are SEOs, they're like eating it up. But for people that are not super hardcore into this stuff, I think the thing to take away is that, like, you every day look at sites and you can just diagnose that as like,
and that's what our team, that's what all of our members do, whether you're in my position or if you're one of our campaign managers. I mean, I would say our campaign managers on HOTH are even more in it, because that's all they do. All they talk to is active campaigns, work on individual sites, and they've seen thousands of sites. I see probably 10 to 15 new sites every single day. I talk about them, whether people are having troubles or having success, whether they need to do SEO, whether they don't. So I just see a wide variety of different industries, different niches, what's working, what's not working. I will say that there's no secret sauce. There's not any recipe that's 100%.
A secret. There is a secret sauce. Just call Ryan and he'll tell you what.
There's nothing of the sort. I wish there was, but there is something you can do consistently.
There is not. There might not be a secret sauce, but I can tell already just talking to you. We talk all the time about this kind of stuff, but what we wouldn't consider as secret sauce. Like, most people don't know anything about anchor text optimization or what kind of DA links they're going to need or what the actual content strategy or where their content gap pieces are. So, I mean, in a way, that is the secret sauce. So
I guess we get a little tainted when we talk about it all day.
Yeah, when you talk about it every single day,
most people right over their head.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk about a little bit about what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see, because you see clients come in all the time. They have all kinds of different sites. Yes. What are the biggest mistakes that people are making?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is the fear of Google.
Oh, that's a big one now. It's kind of crazy that it still persists, right?
Yeah, it's like Google, you never know what they're going to do. You might just hit a switch one day and your website tanks. You might hit a switch, it might go back up.
At least that's what people think.
That's what they think. Yeah. So I think fear is the biggest one. Everybody's always worried about what do I need to do to change my strategy because Google came out with an update. Yeah. When you may not need to change anything. You may need to just stay strong and keep on keeping on. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. Another large mistake is not spending enough money into their SEO and spending very small amounts, thinking that that's going to get them where they want to be.
Or spending in the wrong place.
Or spending in the wrong place. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you may be spending all your money on 500-word blog articles and you don't do anything else. When you need a variety of blog articles, maybe you need some 1,500 words and you need a 2,000 word here and there. Maybe you need to work on your web copy. But some people just get stuck on what maybe is simple or what is kind of what they've read quickly.
Well, dude, that happens all the time, man. When you see these SEO blogs, they're talking about all kinds of things. It makes it super confusing. I really like your approach to SEO because it's really analytical. You're able to go in and look at a site and see if they're targeting something. You'd say, like, okay, this is like objectively what it's going to take to get there, because we can actually look in your tools and see, like, okay, is this a keyword that we think that is going to produce an ROI for you, or if not, what else can we do?
Yeah, and it's also another big mistake is not having any tools yourself. I mean, I think anybody who owns a website needs some type of subscription to a tool. Yeah. If you don't have that and all you're using is the console, which a lot of people don't even use the console and they just use analytics maybe, they're missing out on a lot. There's a lot of information they miss out on. I mean, even just if you have some type of tool it just does an audit every night for you, at least you would know if something goes wrong, because a lot of people might even have a page that goes down. Yeah. And they won't know for like 2-3 days.
Yeah, so I like that. I like if you don't have Google Search Console, sign up for that. Definitely. Get Google Analytics. That's free as well. And if you don't have another tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, those are super valuable for looking at your SEO. And if you don't have one of those, you should get it. Yeah. Or you can actually use, we have a bunch of free tools on our website. Yeah.
And we have videos to show people how to use those tools as well, so if you're a little confused. But
even with those, I will say that even all those tools put together, that can still be confusing. And that's where our guides and even yourself can come into place.
Yeah, and that's where you can, for us, you can always schedule a call and try to understand what things mean, why you're not ranking for certain keywords, because a lot of times people just don't even have location pages if you're a local business, or maybe your service page only has 100 words on it. So how is that page ever going to rank for the keywords that you want to rank for if you're not even providing what it is about?
Yeah.
So I think location pages for local businesses, having
I think that's
a lot of
super important,
content
yeah.
on collection
Can
or
you-
category pages.
Can you explain the location pages for local businesses? 'Cause
Yeah.
this is a huge mistake that I see all the
Huge.
time too.
Yeah, a lot of people try to rank their homepage for like localized keywords. So if you're a dentist in Tampa and you also are in Clearwater and the surrounding areas, Hillsborough County, and you want to rank from Naples as well, because maybe you're a premium dentist company and you only have your homepage and a service page and an about page, and you don't have location pages, how does Google even know where you should be ranking for besides your Google My Business page? But you want to have location pages, the places where you serve all the different people in all the different places that you can do service for. So whether you're a dentist or if you're a moving company, if you're I mean, there's a sky's the limit on what you could be, but you have to have location pages. So if you want to rank in Tampa, you need to have a page explaining that you know what Tampa is, you know where it's located, and you service that area for these types of...
So it's really specific and really granular. If you, like most businesses, they offer multiple services, right? As dentists, you all offer like porcelain veneers and Invisalign and root canals and general checkups. So you want to have a page, and you also have these different locations that you want to serve. So you want to have a separate page for each, even if they say the same pretty much the same thing. Pretty much, yeah. Even if they say pretty much the same thing, if you want to rank in those, Google wants you to be super granular. So that's kind of stuff that we see all the time. You know, people think that just like, oh man, my website's not ranking for everything. Why not? Well, maybe that's one of the reasons. You didn't tell Google that in Tampa you actually offer these services, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very clear. I mean, think about what a computer would want to do. I mean, ultimately that's what's reading your website and trying to rank it. And would a computer really know that you service all these areas just because you're located in this one area? Like, probably not. I mean, the neural net and all those things are smart, but they're not as smart as we are.
And this applies to local businesses as well as it does apply to like nationwide businesses that have tons of locations everywhere, right? We work with a few like nationwide chains, and one of the biggest opportunities is really just building out all the location pages for all the services that they offer. Even if those pages are a lot of times like very similar.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you can use canonicals if you need to make sure that there's no issues with duplicate content. But even Google says there's no penalties for duplicate content. So even that you don't have to be that careful with. You just want to make sure that you're not trying to play the system with duplicate content. That's when you can get hurt.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of in like local. I mean, duplicate content's like a big controversy, right? But I've seen a lot of people like if you actually look at localized pages, you can get away with a lot of the really similar content. The strategy that I recommend is that people can like rewrite their content or make it similar. But you can also, for each location, you can make it a little bit unique. It's kind of easy if you think about it. Look, for each location, you have, let's say, different pictures of the work that you've done in that location. You might have reviews from the people of the work that you've done in that location. If you are a brick and mortar business, you might have pictures and information about where that actual location is. If you're a service-based business, yeah, you can actually just talk about that location. You can talk about the different work you've done in that location. I mean, there's lots of ways.
Where you're located, how to get to you if you're coming from this area. I mean, there's lots of little tricks.
There's lots of little ways that you can make that page, although it's like very similar in terms of content, you can make it unique to that area.
And really, how long does that take? How long would that really take you to build out these independent locations?
A long time. That's why we now sell localized service pages, right?
We certainly do. We got our web copy. But yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult to do that. You get your base down, you have your first page, and then from there you can build out and build more pages for all the areas that you serve.
And dude, when you can understand these strategies, we can understand like what's going on. A lot of people, they just don't know. Like, it's really hard. It's like SEO can be really complicated. Even though when you look at it every day, you're like, oh, I get it. I can see the things immediately. If you are not in this every day, it's really easy to get lost in the weeds and just be like, why isn't this not working?
Yeah. Another big mistake I think comes up a lot is
people don't ask for help.
People don't ask for help, or they think they know it all.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just a layman, but they've read a couple guides and they already know. But I think one of the biggest ones too is like keyword cannibalization, targeting very similar topics over and over again for your blog articles.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like if you're like a business and you sell whatever, you sell one thing, and you just write every single article literally has that same it's about that same thing, then Google doesn't understand
They have no idea which one to rank. So at that point, if you've already done that, you got to correct that. And one way to correct that is to go in, figure out which ones actually do rank. If they rank and they have any keywords related to them, maybe you take those articles and you clean them up. Maybe you combine them. Maybe you do some 301 redirects where you tell Google, like, this page now lives here and it's still related to the original topic. And then maybe you just get rid of some of those old articles. Because if they're just sitting on your website and they're taking up space and it's confusing Google, because I mean, a lot of times you'll see in the analytics tools, people who have, say they're ranking, let's go back to dentists, I guess. Let's say.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's a good
Veneers, new veneers. I want best veneers in Tampa. Like, you may have a Tampa location page. Maybe you have blog articles that are also talking about veneers. And then you have another article talking about the best ways to store your veneers. I don't think you can do that. But all those pages are ranking now for veneers. And Google's like, okay, I'm going to try this one. No, I'm going to try this one. Now I'm going to try this one. And they keep disappearing in the analytics because they're unsure. And at that point, that's when you need to have a tool or somebody you use for SEO to be able to go in and say, hey, like, these 3 articles are trying to rank for the same terms. They keep falling in and out of the results. Let's merge those. Let's put them together in one page, 301 to redirect them into just one. And all of a sudden, Google's going to be like, thank you. Now I know which page I should rank.
That happens all the time, especially as sites start growing. Like, if you've been working on your SEO for a long time, like, this happens all. It even happens to us. We were doing some analysis of our own site, checking it out, and I mean, we've built a lot of content over the years, and so we end up writing about the same thing twice. So what we started doing is identifying those things and then moving them to either an ultimate guide or literally just getting rid of, like, old, outdated content. It's actually even worse, I think, to have outdated content on your site than it is to just not have it.
And especially in a field like ours. I mean, we could then be giving the wrong information if it's outdated.
So I think it's really great. If you have a bigger site, it's really great to do, like, an audit of your site. Make sure that all your content's up to date. Make sure you don't have that keyword cannibalization, so you keep competing and shooting yourself in the foot.
Even being in, like, a your money, your life type of field. Maybe you're in the medical field and you have blog articles that have information from 6 years ago.
That's going to be real bad,
That is not relevant anymore, and it's wrong. And Google crawls that, and maybe there's a link to a page that's no longer there anymore. It might show that you're not an expert anymore.
I think we're coming into the age of Google where this stuff, like, actually matters, you know, and especially if you really want to win for your market. Like, you can actually get away with a lot of things in terms of SEO. Like, your SEO doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have perfectly optimized title tags every single time. You don't have to have, like, every article doesn't have to be a zillion words long. You can have a few things messed up, but when you're in a competitive niche, these things actually start mattering. If you really, really want to rank and there's other people competing and they have fast page speeds and good SSL and, like, all these different things going on their site, you actually got to start paying more and more attention to these details, like broken links and all, you know.
Who you're linking to, because if you link to another website, that means you trust them. So if you're linking to websites that Google doesn't trust, I mean, what could that mean for your SEO?
And updating content is actually a big thing that you can do to rapidly improve your results. I want to give a little quick example. I was looking at, in Google Search Console, which we talked about earlier, it's a free tool. I was looking at some pages that were, like, losing traffic. And all I did is I went in there and I updated the page, I updated the H1, kind of re-optimized it a little bit.
Looked at the competitors, what they're...
Yeah, I looked at the competitors, looked to see what they're ranking for, and kind of, you know, try to model what's ranking. And then one of the more important things, like little key elements, is that, you know, when was the page originally published? And I updated the WordPress publish date as I updated the content as well, and that page just started, like, climbing back up. The thing about it is, like, a lot of people don't know is, like, Google sees your pages and they know what date you published it on. And if it's something that should be updated, like, they know that you published this thing 4 years ago. And, like, a lot of times, sometimes they'll put that date on the actual SERP result, and sometimes it won't be there, so you don't even know. There's a couple tricks you can do to figure out what Google sees as the last published date, but I'm just saying that a lot of people, they don't pay attention to stuff. And you might have an extremely important page on your website that you published 4 years ago, And
it's still relevant, maybe?
It's kind of losing rank, and you don't know why. Well, it's because that thing is 4 years old, and Google sees it as 4 years old, and the last time you updated was 4 years ago.
Yeah, and guess who's going to get priority? Somebody who's had maybe an article that's been around for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly, because they are. It's a competitive industry. People are publishing stuff on that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man.
That can make the difference. And that's also another thing too, is if you have Google Search Console, you can also then resubmit that same URL right into it for inspection, and then have Google re-index it and crawl it as soon as possible. Where I think a lot of people do that. Maybe they're updating content, maybe they're adding new blog articles to their website, and then they don't even submit it into the Search Console. So that's a big mistake too, because you can probably get that new blog article indexed and crawled within 24 hours, or you can just wait till they find it, which could take up to 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer if you're a small site.
Yeah, man. These are really good tips, and I didn't really believe this kind of stuff until you do it on your own site, and then your traffic starts recovering, and you're like, oh man, because people think that their sites are like penalized or something, but really they're just old, or they just didn't get updated, or like there's so many different things that you could do to like actually improve your traffic. You know, if you talk to somebody that's really experienced, or you have the tools, you can actually identify these types of things. But without this kind of knowledge, man, people get all kinds of crazy ideas about SEO. So.
Yeah, they think it's so complicated. I mean, it is complicated, but there's a lot of simple things that by talking to the right people, or referring to the right guides and using the right tools, that you can find out this type of information fairly easily. So, I mean, there's also a lot of different resources you can use, from listening to good podcasts, joining proper forums, watching some good, watching good videos like these, where hopefully we're talking on the level.
We have an article for about everything that we've talked about. I think. When we
the ranking homepage. The whole article and a video paired with it.
Yep, we wrote an article about the location pages and homepage SEO. And building backlinks, all this type of stuff.
Anchor text ratio. I mean,
updating old posts. We have an article about that.
Let's just be honest. A lot of the stuff that I know, it comes from our own guides that I've learned over the course of time, and then also just experience of looking at different websites and applying the knowledge that I've learned from a lot of the guides we have, and then a lot of the conferences we've gone to, and then the different experts in the field.
I think that's like one of the most powerful things, is like the actual experience. Like when you get to see like tons and tons of client sites like every day, you get to see more sites than most people do. Most people see their own site, and so like they try one experiment or something like that, and they conclude that as everything. But you get to see not only like tons of sites, but also what happens when you build content to sites, or when you build these types of links, or like we offer lots of link building type services. So you see what happens on different sites with different link building types. So
yeah, because it's like if I'm on the phones, if I get 10 calls a day, and then on top of that I'm answering emails, and most of the time those emails include a URL that they want me to check out, or maybe a site that's stuck, or a new client that a reseller wants to onboard, and they just need a little extra help to kind of push them over to the level so they can close them. I mean, I'm probably looking at least 20 new sites every single day, and I'm putting them into all of my tools. That's more than I look at, Just loading my tools up, batch analysis, looking at them, and I see some consistencies behind what works, what doesn't work. Obviously, there's some outliers.
Dude, there's always an outlier,
There's always outliers. And
that's the fun part, right?
Yeah, that's the fun part. Keeps you on your toes, because I never have a full 100% answer at any time. All I can use is the experience I have, and then the tools that we have access to, and we can then put that together and come up with the best solution to people's issues with their SEO, whether it's rankings or whatever that may be. But it's a crash course. I mean, the 2.5 years I've been here, I would say for most people in the SEO field would probably be like 7 years of experience, maybe 10 years of experience with the amount of websites that I've seen. So
I love it.
Yeah, definitely a crash course.
I love it, man. All right, let's talk a little bit about things we talked a lot about SEO and getting traffic to your site and what it looks like to go big on SEO and win, mistakes and stuff like that. But let's talk about, like, let's say you are getting SEO to your site. How can you take that to the next step? How can you capitalize on things that are like related to SEO, but a little bit outside of that?
Oh wow, there's a lot of things. I think one of the most important parts is make sure you're capturing that traffic.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting leads. So if that means that you have guides that will allow you to take somebody's email information, if there's great call to actions on your website, good user interface, all those little differences. I mean, A/B testing, doing some CRO, making sure that you're watching all your hot spots, where people are clicking, where people are staying, the dwell time. I think one of the biggest things too, I mean, we're doing video right now, making sure that you have video on your site, because if you have video, people will stay a lot longer, their dwell time will go up. And also you'll make a distinction kind of in your field, especially if you're in some type of niche where maybe it's small, maybe it's kind of tight, and your competitors don't have video. You get video on your site, all of a sudden there's something more relatable.
I like that a lot, man. We've actually been doing that ourselves. We've been taking all of our blog posts, make sure that they're the good ones that are updated and whatnot, and then we'll just take that same content that we already spent a lot of time on, and we'll turn that into a video. We'll just put somebody in front of a camera and just have them do like a short version of that blog post. I mean, that's good because not only are we making a video, now we can actually put that on YouTube. Yep. So now we have another chance to get...
The two biggest search engines.
Yeah, Google's biggest search engine, then we have YouTube as the second biggest search engine. Not only can we get traffic from YouTube, but we can also take that video, embed it back in the post for all the people that don't want to read, and that's going to increase the dwell time, and that's a really good interaction for showing Google that people are staying on our site. They're interacting with the site.
Even though they claim that dwell time doesn't have anything to do with rankings, but... I mean,
dude, if you're keeping people on your site, they're interacting with your site, that's all good things. I mean, and not everybody likes to read. You know what I mean?
Definitely not. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of these things. I mean, if you can put these quick snippets into those, and you can even use those videos then for ads if you really want to on the Facebook platform, LinkedIn, wherever that is. You can then put those there as ads. I mean, there's many places you can use videos, and it definitely helps out with just your engagement.
This is like the inbound content marketing machine, right? That we kind of started out talking about in the beginning of the podcast. Like, if you just create this good content, and it doesn't have to just live on your website. You actually need to promote it, right? Sure. So you can go take these blog posts, you can put them on Facebook, you can upload these videos to Facebook, you can upload these videos to YouTube, you can post it on Twitter, you can post it everywhere. And it's just bringing in all these people that are just consuming your content. They're seeing you everywhere.
And getting all those social signals up too, because the more likes, the more subscribers, the more views you have, the more shares you have. Do those have an effect on your SEO as well?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be sell all the time. Like when you're promoting these cool articles, I mean, people are just trusting your brand. And that's where if we're going to spend a ton of money on SEO, if you're going to spend $50,000 a month on SEO or $100,000 a month on SEO, dude, we can create a ton of cool content. That's where a lot of budget goes to, or links to. So, but yeah. So I like when you're talking about optimizing and capturing people's information. Yeah. I think we see that a lot. Is you can drive a lot of SEO to a site. But then we can do a great job doing SEO, but then when they actually get to the site doesn't...
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you actually do? People are like, hi, we're the dentist. Cool. This is what we sell. Yep. Like, okay, what do I do next? You got to tell people, put in your email address here for a free consultation. Or... click here or call us. You gotta
call us now and have that hyperlink. Just boom, you're ready to go. It hooks up to whatever their default phone is.
Yeah.
So those are all those little details that will actually convert that traffic. And I think we have so many clients who we get them the traffic and then they don't know what to do with it. Yeah. And they say, well, I'm getting all this traffic, but I'm not getting leads. Yeah. And then at that point, you're like, well, then there's a whole other issue. Then it's the website that we need to fix, call to actions and the user interface. Or it's people who just need leads, and they actually don't need all that organic traffic necessarily. And then at that point, we would say, maybe you should look into ads. Yeah. So then we can actually convert those leads. We can create landing pages. We can create those forms. We can create social proof. We can put that all on one page.
Yeah, let's unpack that a little bit, because I think that's important. When there's SEO and there's PPC, there's Google Ads. Clearly, every single year, Google is increasing the number of ads. They're making them look more like organic results. So I think that there's a lot of people that have just avoided paying for traffic. They don't want to do ads. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, is that another thing too? You think is it again trust, the lack of trust, or fear because of Google? What is Google doing?
To be honest, I don't know, but I have heard this. Some people have been. You ever seen these articles out there that are how we grew to 10,000 people, 10,000 users without spending a penny on marketing? Yeah. Not spending a penny on marketing.
Unless you're Tesla, I mean.
Well, I mean. if you are a genius, Elon Musk, and you can create this incredible, amazing product that doesn't exist in its totally own category, we're not talking about you, okay? We're talking about the vast majority of businesses out there. It's like there's this pride thing without spending any money on marketing, right? But I don't get it because there's no award for that, and really, a business, it's all about ROI, right? So like, why are people so scared of just paying money for ads if they are able to get ROI? Maybe they just missed that.
And I think it goes back to they probably don't have the right people in place to do it correctly. They've
heard horror stories. Maybe they've tried it. Maybe they've tried it before.
They've tried it themselves, and Google bled them dry.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons why. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it always comes back. If you're doing marketing and there's a return on investment, why would you ever stop spending?
Exactly.
Why?
Yeah, and actually the point isn't to spend the least, the point is to spend as much as you can, because as long as you have ROI, then you should be like, okay, if we have ROI on $1,000 a month, let's go to 5. If we have ROI on that, let's go to 10,000. Let's just spend as much. And that's actually who is really going to win. Mm-hmm. The people that are going to win, there's a famous quote that says, like, the business that's going to win is the one that can spend the most to acquire a customer, right? It's because you can outspend all your competitors on ads, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to ads if you have the right people in place to run those, because ultimately it's the easiest way to get leads, and it's probably going to be maybe not the most cost effective because SEO should be long term.
Yeah.
But if you need instant leads, you need somebody to call you now. If you need to reach out to somebody right away, I mean, definitely Google Ads is the highest quality leads that you can get through paid. There's
pluses and minuses for each, right? There's pluses in terms of PPC. The pluses are that you can control it, right? You can get results fast.
There's no algorithm.
There's no algorithm. Well, there's a little bit of an algorithm, but not like SEO, right? You can actually control it. You can say, hey, if you want to bid on this keyword, you want to show up for this, you can show up for that keyword, like today. You know what I mean? So that's a positive. You can control it. Now, ROI, not as high as SEO, right? But it's going to bring you to the consistency. SEO, slower. It's going to take more time, less consistency. But you're going to see that high ROI once you actually start ranking, and that's going to continue for a long time.
Got to have a combo meal.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are like, either or. It's not either or. We just do both. Like, I run email marketing, Facebook ads, PPC ads. I do tons of SEO, inbound marketing, all that kind of stuff. I love it, man. I love being a multi-channel marketer.
You got to do it all. I mean, like, if your business is only doing SEO, the only reason that you should be only doing SEO is if maybe you're in an industry that you can't do Google Ads. That's really the only.
But actually, we do have a lot of those industries. You know, if you're banned from Google Ads, and you're in this kind of a great niche, we do have a lot of those industries. Yeah.
Didn't know.
Good to know. Shut up, Ryan. You're analyzing these sites every single day, man. No, but that is big. Like, if there's an industry that hasn't been approved by the FDA or something like that, it's a big thing for SEO. I mean, we do a lot of vapes, CBD, stuff like that.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, that's the only option that they have at this point is to do SEO. So a lot of those gray niche websites, a lot of the industries where people are very skeptical whether or not somebody can actually do SEO for them. Yeah, we can get it done. I mean, that's probably some of our largest clients actually are going to be in those types of industries because they have to do SEO and they have to do it with somebody that they trust who's run a lot of campaigns like that before, especially because they usually have nice budgets, pretty big ones.
Or sometimes in really, really competitive niches where it starts to become financially prohibitive to actually run the ads, like let's say like finance or something like that. Like SEO is actually a really good choice. You know what I mean? So. I really like all that stuff. I want to unpack a little bit about, we're talking about PPC, we're talking about conversion rate optimization in terms of like the landing pages. Let's talk about that a little bit, about how you can really control stuff from PPC.
Yeah, with PPC, I mean, so number one, you have to be okay with running ads and having independent landing pages. Because you don't want to be sending all of your ads to your homepage.
That's actually what a lot of people do. They send all their ads to their homepage and they wonder why it doesn't work.
People are very stuck on that too because they're like, no, it's fine. And you're like, well, it would be much better if they didn't go to your homepage because is your homepage directly related to just getting people to convert? Is that all it is? If your homepage is a landing page to convert, great, but that's very odd. Not many.
It's very odd because a homepage is almost indefinitely. It should be a navigational tool.
Should be a portal.
You land on the homepage, you build trust, and you tell people where they need to go. It's not built for conversion at all. But that's okay because homepages need to be optimized for the brand and things like that. Whereas PPC, you can get super specific. If somebody's searching for this one thing, they're going to go to this one specific landing page. You can actually really direct people.
And you have the match. You have to match the whole point of that ad needs to then match with the landing page, and then can match to the next page after that. So you have to have that keyword match all along the way. If the phrase and the tone has to be all there. So if you're trying to bring somebody in for an ad for, let's say, local SEO, and you send them to the home page and it's white label SEO solution provider, they're going to be like, this isn't what I was looking for. Yeah. So instead, you have a landing page directly related to local SEO, which can really hone in on what that person was searching for, and you're going to get way better conversions at that point. And plus, a lot of other websites, because you have that homepage, they're choosing, maybe they're going different places, maybe they're like, oh, what's this? And then they go to the About page, and all of a sudden they're gone, so they're not converting anymore because that form that maybe was on your homepage isn't on the page that they were able to sneak to. So get rid of the navigation too as well, so then you can keep people to where they really need to be.
It's crazy. You wouldn't think that these things make a difference, but they really, really do. I would say you have to treat these users like they're children, right? They get so distracted, they can start clicking on things, and they just close out of your website. Really what you want to do is just make it as simple as possible, really just take them by the hand and guide them to the right place. And this sounds simple, but this can make a huge difference in everything. We had a client recently that we took on. They have a local business. It's a very lucrative space. If they get one client, it can be about $30,000 for them. So
that's
very lucrative. We took them on in
good
PPC.
Lifetime value.
Yeah, good lifetime value too. That's just the first month, okay? So we took them on, and they were getting leads. Like at one point, one lead for them actually cost $8,000 running on Google Ads, and you would think that that's insane, right? And it kind of was. But at the same time, they collect $30,000 in the first month.
Sounds
right?
good to me.
Okay, so they had a bunch of ads running. A lot of them were running to their homepage and stuff like that. So we took over the campaign. We cleaned it all up. We started breaking it down by the services they offered, and we pushed them to specific landing pages. And their lead cost went from $8,000 to $500 to $400 to $300. And then,
because it's like spend $8,000 to get $30,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
But to spend $400 to get $30,000.
Yeah. Well, not every lead converts, but just taking that lead cost and dramatically reducing it by using these strategies, by using that message match you're talking about, which we have a blog article on, and also doing these landing pages and stuff like that, we really just reduced the cost per lead, man. It was crazy. So
that's a drastic change.
So we got one more section. This is going to be rapid fire quick tips from Ryan. Okay, so I have this little basket here. This is a fun thing that we do, and it's got five little questions in here. So I'm gonna mix them up, and you're gonna give your best tips, your best advice, rapid fire. Okay, so here is what we got. All right, number one: how to compete against large companies when you don't have a large budget. Get a bigger budget.
Oh, that's a tough one. No rapid fire for that. I would say the best thing you can do is use somebody who has experience in the industry. Don't try to do it yourself. If you do it yourself, you're probably going to fail because you need to know the ins and outs. It's going to come down to the details to be able to succeed. You can't waste a single dime if you're going against the legacy domains like that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. There's always some way that you can sneak around the back, get a little different strategy,
it's more than
find
possible.
a less.
It's more than possible
exactly.
Because there's always room for some of the little sites in the top 10 results, and that's because you can only have two positions in the SERPs per domain. Yep. So at that point, it does open the door up to some of those smaller websites. And there's a lot of times we'll see you'll have a legacy domain, Wikipedia, and then you'll have some big
brand new little
site that's got 7 links, and you're like, what the heck is this? And then you look into it, and you realize.
That's coming for you. All right, next one. We got rapid fire questions. Here we go. All right. How to get traffic when first starting out. Rapid fire tip.
Gonna take a while. There's really no way to around that. PPC is the only way, but it's a different type of traffic. But the best way to do that would be to start by creating a ton of content, and then as you start seeing some traffic, you start seeing some keywords move, then start doing some link building, and then you should start seeing those keywords move up into higher positions. Go after quick win keywords.
Quick win keywords. I love that.
Low difficulty, good cost per click, good search volume, and something you're already ranking.
All right, last one. All right. best advice for local site / company?
Location pages.
Pretty general, yeah. But
location pages.
Yeah.
Make sure you have location pages for all of the locations, for all the places you serve. If you don't have that, you're already missing on a ton of traffic.
I think that's so powerful because you a lot of times don't need a lot of links to even get those rankings.
Yep.
So.
Very true.
All right, man. That's it for the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one and learned a lot. Hopefully you make one of these mommy blog margaritas with us. And we will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.